We've all seen that one driver out there and thought to ourselves, what the f***? Today, we're going to talk about those drivers and whether their actions negatively impact the rest of us. I want to give a massive thank you to Danny, one of my subscribers and a member of my Discord server. Link to that in the description for today's video idea. Before we get started, I would like to thank you all so much for 3,000 subscribers. It's been a wild 6 months and I am so grateful you all are with me for this journey. I have the best subscribers on YouTube. This video will be using the big 3 food delivery apps as examples, but realistically could apply to just about any app in the gig space. When I make an On My Soapbox video, it's typically about something unethical one of the delivery services, usually DoorDash, is doing. Having said that, today, I would like to talk about us, the drivers. Quick disclaimer, I realize that most of you will not be guilty of any of these things, but I do feel like we need to address them. Personally, I've been guilty of 2 of these, so I'm trying to keep myself accountable here too. Let's start with the one that I am the most passionate about. Drivers who accept low or no tip offers. Guilty. But don't click off just yet. I remember being brand new to DoorDash and sitting at $147 for the day. My goal for that day was $150. I got a no-tip offer, $3, picking up from Chipotle, which was right across from me, and dropping off less than a mile from where I live. Against my better judgment, my love for round numbers overrode my common sense. I accepted the order, climbed 3 flights of stairs, and got it delivered. But somehow after that, the $150 felt worse than the $147. My point for telling you this: I've made questionable decisions as a driver myself, and I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm just trying to educate, which is why I did this video. And I just want to add, other than doing that video, I haven't taken a non-tip order since. So why did I make the no-tip order video? I've had other drivers, and continue to have other drivers, tell me that they accept no-tip orders because they usually get tipped in cash. No, the f*** they don't. You may be able to feed that line to customers or your friends, but you are not fooling an experienced driver. After having this exact conversation with a driver in my market, I decided to do that experiment where I only accepted no-tip orders for 1 day. I wanted to see how many cash tips I'd walk away with. If you're curious to see how that went, I'll put a link to that video in the description. Did 5 shitty customers get their order delivered because of me? Yes, but as a result, many more drivers were shown why they should never accept non-tip orders. Think about it like this. If a customer orders DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub for the first time and doesn't tip, but still gets their order quickly, do you think that that customer is ever going to tip? Probably not. You may be okay making $2.50 for 8 miles and 30 minutes of your time, but most of us aren't. So, if you're doing this, seriously, knock it off. By accepting orders like these, you're telling our customers that our time isn't valuable. All you're doing is putting on your clown uniform, driving your clown car into the ground, and screwing the rest of us in the process. So on behalf of drivers everywhere that would like fair compensation, 86 that shit immediately, please. If a customer doesn't respect our time enough to adequately compensate us for it, and I'm not talking about $1 or $2 tip, make them wait for their order. The longer the better. You know that old saying, the customer's always right? No, they're not. Especially when it comes to our bank accounts. Now don't get me wrong, it's not just drivers that enable this kind of janky fuckery. The companies enable shitty customers also. You know that screen that pops up that warns the customer that their order might be late, cold, or canceled if they don't tip? Neither do I. Let's make that a thing and quit bonusing or doubling orders when the customer doesn't tip. At the end of the day, drivers can and should check if both customers tipped on a double, at least on DoorDash. On Uber Eats, you can typically make an informed guess. So ultimately, it does fall on us to stop cheap-ass customers in their tracks. Quick side note, if you don't know how to check if both customers tipped, check out this video. And to my former brand new driver self, I say this: I'm glad you learned not to take low or no tip orders. Tell me about an order in the comment section that you accepted that you probably shouldn't have. But don't press send just yet, because I have a couple more questions for you. Also, please do remember that we were all new once, so please be respectful to each other in the comment section. Okay, that rant's done. Let's move on. Guys, we need to address drivers being jerks to restaurant workers. Admittedly, I have been guilty of this one too. We're going to come back to that. This may not be as obvious as the first one as to why this could create issues for other drivers, but hear me out and follow me down the rabbit hole. We've all seen a driver come storming in like a Karen with an opinion, skip the line, and shove their phone in the restaurant worker's face. Well, that's them, not us, right? Well, yes, but also no. Hear me out. When I say the words telemarketer or debt collector, what comes to mind? If you're anything like me, you generalize them and group them all together. There has never been a time where I thought, wow, I like that telemarketer. I'm glad he interrupted sexy time. Fuck no, it doesn't work like that. Whether it's right or wrong, people do make assumptions about entire groups of people, and it can be very difficult to get them to change their mind. Drivers are no different. When a driver representing DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub comes into a restaurant and starts treating people like crap, they're going to remember that, and we're all going to face the negative repercussions of that driver's actions. I don't like walking into a restaurant and being completely ignored because somebody else did something shitty and pissed them off. There's no need to talk down to, belittle, or yell at another human being. No, we don't make an hourly rate, and yes, we're in a hurry. But the earth does not revolve around us. Keep in mind, the people that we interact with when we're out driving also have shit to do. If that restaurant employee remembers the next time you go in that you've been pleasant, you're likely to get better service. Remember me saying that I've been less than friendly to restaurant workers? I wish I could say I was joking, but unfortunately, I'm not. On the very rare occasion that it's happened, here is how it would usually go. The restaurant worker wouldn't be pleased to see a driver, me, waiting to pick up an order, so I would get ignored. After a while of being ignored, I would finally speak up with a detectable level of frustration in my voice, pissing off the restaurant worker even further. Then they'd go check for the order and let me sit there to stew for another 5 or 10 minutes, pissing me off further. Once I finally did get the order, I would grab it and walk out without saying a word, pissing off the restaurant employee even further. So, to recap, the restaurant worker has clearly had bad experiences with other drivers, prompting them to give me the cold shoulder. I'd get pissed off because I did nothing wrong to them. Then I'd turn around and give them the same attitude that the first driver gave them that pissed them off in the first place. Then they'll give the next driver the same treatment. You see what I'm getting at? It's a cycle. We can break it. In all fairness to me, 99% of the interactions I have with restaurant employees are typically positive. And when they're not, it's because I was given the cold shoulder. But that does not make my reciprocation the correct response. Remember, I'm trying to keep myself accountable here too. Share a less than desirable experience that you have had or witnessed in the comment section below. The final thing I would like to discuss is bad multi-apping. Sometimes there's some confusion as to what multi-apping means because it can be used interchangeably to mean two different things. Meaning number one, where you run multiple apps and accept one order on one app and turn off the rest of your apps until that order is complete. Meaning number two, and the meaning used in this video, where you accept an order on app A and you accept an order on app B, and you do them both at the same time. I'll be the first to admit, this usually isn't a very hard job. We pick up at point A and we drop off at point B. But occasionally you get drivers that try to add points C and D into the mix when they're really not ready to be doing so. Look, I'm very guilty about getting activated on a new app, doing 2 or 3 orders, and then assuming I know everything there is to know. But it's not just the apps that we need to know to efficiently multi-app. When done correctly, multi-apping can drastically increase our revenue. We could be making more than double per hour than we otherwise would have. However, if done incorrectly, it creates a bad experience for the customer, can get you bad ratings, or deactivated. I've been the unfortunate recipient of a poorly multi-apped order before. The driver with my order did exactly what you were not supposed to do. This asshole drove miles in the wrong direction. Don't hate me, but the order did have ice cream in it. Don't get me wrong, I still ate the fucking thing because a DoorDash meal will cost you $47 per person. But it wouldn't have taken another driver to look at the app, see where that driver was going, and know that they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. So, with that said, I understand the driver and the customer perspective. On my future orders, if I see that driver's name pop up, I'm going to cancel the order because I tip well, I don't want my order delayed 30 minutes, and I'm petty. Is that petty? Let me know in the comment section below if that's petty. Take a gander at this map. Let's say I get an Uber and a DoorDash, both picking up at restaurants in Berkeley Village. One is picking up at Mod Pizza, and the other one's picking up right next door at Starbucks. These restaurants are side by side, and you would be surprised just how often I get orders from both places at the same time. Now let's say customer A lives here, and customer B lives here. If both customers are looking at their app, they're both going to assume I'm picking up their order. This is the route to get to both customers. Again, both customers could be watching me and would assume that I am on my way to them. That is an effective and efficient multi-app. Take notes, Jeff Q. Then you have the way that Jeff did it, where I ordered from here, he drove the fuck over there, then leisurely made his way down here to me with my melted ice cream. I still ate it because, again, it was like 47 bucks. Guys, I am not encouraging you to multi-app, as you truly can get deactivated if you do it wrong. What I am saying is if you do decide to multi-app, make sure you know your restaurant wait times and your city streets well. Customers who think that they're going to end up waiting will either tip less or jump ship, and that is less orders for all of us in the long run. We should be extremely picky with the orders we accept, and we should only accept orders that the customers compensate us well for our time. When we do get those awesome customers, we should be as friendly and as fast as safely possible. All it takes is one negative experience with a bad driver to turn what otherwise would have been a great customer into a non-tipping customer. If you feel personally attacked by anything I've said in this video, then I'm probably speaking to you. And for the rest of you that are just here to see how many times I would say words like janky fuckery, keep being awesome at what you do. I want to give a big thank you to my subscribers who shared their input when polled about pet peeves about their fellow drivers. Well, that's going to about wrap up the video. If you haven't done so yet, please do press that like and subscribe button. If you are kind enough to subscribe, let me know in the comment section below. Tell me your name and the market you drive in, and I'll be sure to thank you at the end of my next ride-along video. My name is Zach. Take care.